Good evening, everybody. Welcome tonight. It is day 15 in a row. Um, got a really good update tonight, and I think it will encourage you the best we can in the world in which we live. I just want to say hello to a few people in here. We got people in different places here. Richard Martin Zink, God bless you. Bill Terry, Donna Adams, God bless you tonight. Rick Berry, Bethel Life Family PG praying for Ukraine. Lynn and Harold Fireball. Oh, Lynn and Harold. Was that prophetic? No. Lynn and Harold, Mr. Baseball from Virginia. Welcome to you. Silmar, God bless you. Judy Emmerich, God bless you. The Emmerichs in the house. Janine Catalano, welcome to you tonight. Watching from great shirt, a great shirt. I'm reading a comment over here that said, nice shirt. The great state of West Virginia. Todd and Janet Heathcote, welcome to you. Got something to show you in a little while. You guys hang out a few minutes. I think it's you guys. I'm pretty sure. Prayers for Ukraine, Bob Piccarilli. God bless you. Going to be good. Texas is in the house. Welcome to Texas tonight. God bless you. I've got the big Wheatland, California. I've got my big shirt. I need ammo, not a ride. Gift came in from Texas. So I'm representing Ukraine tonight, but this is another shirt that came in from Texas. Let me hit one more button here, and we should be good to go tonight. So thank you all for being here. S.L. Ferguson, God bless you, Pastor. Appomattox, Virginia. Cadmans are in here from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Collins across the street. Tori Watkins, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma in the house. Loving the shirt. Come on, T. Woo! Gotta love the shirt, man. So yeah, we're representing. So tonight is going to be very good. Diana Tarleton, I know that you are constantly praying for Ukraine, especially with your crew of Ukrainians out there in California. So folks, we're going to get to it. I'm doing my best to keep these to an hour max or even less because we do it each night. Many of you were watching last night during our night of worship. What does the shirt say? The shirt says, I need ammunition, not a ride. Kind of one of the sayings now. I need ammunition, not a ride. That's a leader. Holly checking in tonight from Passavant Hospital. If you guys would remember Holly in prayer, her mother specifically, she had a back surgery today. Surgery was successful, but as you can see, Holly is not home. I don't even know how old my mother-in-law is. 78 this year, I think. I think she's 77. So, you know, surgeries are a challenge, but the surgery was successful. But she's having a tough time getting out of all of the anesthesia and all that. And right now, she doesn't really know where she's at. So, but everything's good. So Holly's staying with her tonight through the night. Isagani King, Pastor Ghani checking in from Manila, Philippines. I'm really thankful. You know, our reach here at Bethel Life is reaching out more and more and more. And God is blessing us. I get a report each evening when the stream is over. Did you hear from Jania? Yeah, we'll tell that story in just 1 second. Anyway, thank you guys. Remember, what you can do is pray for Ukraine. You can give, blwc.org. PK's constantly doing a phenomenal job administrating that. We actually sent some finances today. I'll show you guys that in a few moments. And it's going well. The other thing is, you're here in the evenings at 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. What time is it in Manila, Ghani? What time is it in Manila? 8 o'clock Oklahoma, 6 o'clock California. We have folks watching in Africa, folks watching in Canada, folks watching in Mexico. We have folks watching in Ukraine, folks watching in Hong Kong, folks watching in Philippines. So it's working. We're sharing. We're telling the truth because there's a lot of lack of truth out there. So we'll continue to do that. So many of you last night were with us on our night of worship. So on Wednesday nights, we have a night of worship. We start with Bible teaching at 7:30 with Pastor Jim. And then 8:15 to 9 o'clock, we have our night of worship. And here during this time, we were focused on praying and worshiping and lifting up Ukraine and the war. But last night during our time of prayer, if you were watching, okay, thank you, Pastor King. It is 10:10 a.m. in Manila, Philippines. Good evening, Rick Powers. So last night we were in the worship time, and Zhenya actually called into me. So we just flipped it right around. And he began to pray for Ukraine and joined the pastor live, or joined our prayer service live for a few moments. And literally, if you were watching, or you can go back and watch the rebroadcast on our Bethel Live page or YouTube page. Pastor Bill Terry says hello to you, Gani. I'll throw it up there for you to see, my friend. Right during that, Zhenya called in. I flipped the phone around. He's talking through the microphone. And the moment he begins talking through the microphone, he literally said, Father God, in that moment, the sirens went off. And I mean, it was loud. And he instantly, of course, stopped. He says, I'm sorry, I have to go. So it was a pretty tough time to watch, and see what exactly they go through. God bless you there, Bob Green in Tennessee. It was reality. But I've spoken to Zhenya all day long. I've got some video that he has sent to me. We began communicating very early in the morning, my time, late morning his time. Got in touch with him, and just in case we were concerned, I asked him to do this. So for those of you that saw that last night, he's still there.
Hey, dear friends, it's 2:30 morning, and just wanted to say I'm okay. Sorry that I had to leave your live last night because of siren. There is certain things I have to do when I hear siren. So in Ukraine there is something we have to do. So I'm okay. Thank you for support. Thank you for remembering. Thank you for prayer, and thank you for being close.
So there you have it, folks. He is doing great, and I'm tired. We filmed that, I don't know, about an hour and a half ago. I said, man, you gotta say hello to everybody tonight. He's exhausted. And a few hours ago, 3 or 4 hours ago, we filmed an update from the center. And in a few moments, I'm going to show you that video. So what happens is every day, a couple of times during the day, they call me, and we just walk through the refugee centers. And I just greet everyone because I can speak to them in Russian. So I'm speaking to them, and it's not because it's me. It's just because there's somebody outside of their country who believes in them. And, I tell them that we're doing our best to support them, care for them, that we love them. They begin to tell me their story. And tonight, in a little while, you're going to hear the story of a family from Sumy. You do not want to leave. You do not want to check out and come back and miss it. If you do, watch it later. This is one you want to share. You're going to hear a real story from Sumy tonight. And it's crazy. So let's get going to it. Today, as you know, you've probably seen it on your regular news that Dimitry Kuleba and Sergei Lavrov met in Antalya, Turkey today. That meeting lasted for 1.5 hours. It lasted 90 minutes. And here is the meeting in a nutshell. No ceasefire agreement. Ceasefire will only happen on the demands of Putin. And then Kuleba told him, we will defend our homeland. Russia's ready and willing to help with refugees, but the refugees must go to Russia and or Belarus. That's not an option. So there have been quite a few. I think the number is about 32,000 refugees were able to kind of migrate out today a little bit. There's a pretty mass exodus happening now, and I'm going to show you some things about that and why we play a vital role in that in just a moment. But one of the breakers of the meeting this morning in Antalya, Turkey, was this quote, and I quote, it's at the bottom. Lavrov said, Russia did not attack Ukraine and does not plan to attack other countries. You know, I'm just not really sure where Mr. Lavrov gets any understanding at all. There's a certain thing called reprobate, and it's a biblical term. And I believe that when you make statements like that, your mind has completely flipped the switch. And evidently, Lavrov actually believes that. You could not make that statement if you didn't. But he did. And that was pretty much the breaking down of the communications today. And one thing you need to realize, this is a higher level talk as possible, other than Zelensky and Putin sitting down. These are the second top two dogs, Lavrov and Kuleba. So that's where we're at. I want to give you a little quick update. Each night I show you an update on the map. No different tonight. Still looking the same. I was able today to connect to another source. It's an international institute that studies war, and they've done analysis on war. They take every piece of data and just analyze it from a war mentality. Yeah, how can Lavrov claim Russia did not attack Ukraine with a straight face? How? Because he believes it. I mean, it's end time stuff, folks. I don't know if Jesus is coming back tomorrow. I don't know if some invasion is going to happen and the Ezekiel 38 war starts tomorrow. I don't know. I can tell you the pieces are in place. I've been saying this ever since COVID started. We've been talking about Ezekiel 38. We're seeing it unfold before our eyes. I don't know. I'm not a magician. I'm not a prophet reading tea leaves, but I can read the Bible and see what the Bible says, and it's clear. We're witnessing things that are potential Bible-fulfilling prophecy, and we must evaluate it as prophecy being fulfilled in front of our eyes. These things must come to pass, Matthew 24, then the end will come. But Jesus said, don't worry, I'm going to be with you forever. This is where we're at. Even though I'm giving you the news update each night, even though I'm giving you footage, whether it's recorded or live interviews, whatever it may be, and God is blessing us, the audience is growing, we're making a great contribution to Ukraine, not only financially, but emotionally and spiritually. It's all working together. But there's a big picture going on here. We do not know all the answers, but for right now, that's why we're watching it every day. And the best thing we can do is give our love and our prayer and our support to these people. So, that's why you have to be back to the Lavrov statement. He says, we did not invade Ukraine and we do not plan to invade other nations. Well, you did invade Ukraine. And secondly, since you did invade Ukraine, that negates your second statement that you will not invade other nations. That's why everything is on the table, and we need to walk in wisdom. So right now we see the map there squeezing. The War Institute that I was studying today and reading after, they're they're amazed at what Ukraine is doing, honestly, without, major support other than some arms and money. It's shocking to them. So it's amazing, but, they're very clear to say, do not be fooled by everyone saying 90%, 95%, 100% of the Russian military is in Ukraine and, that's it. Okay. The initial force is, yes, 90, 95% is there, but folks, they're still rolling in left and right from Crimea, from Russia, and now very good intelligence that they're going to be coming in from northwestern Ukraine, north of Lvov, north of Rovna, in an attack potentially in northern Ukraine, and that will change it big time. I was sent, so this is just an agreed upon international map of control. This is dated today at 6 o'clock GMT. So this was as of 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now, this is the map that was sent on Russian media. I had this sent to me. The bottom of it, you can't read it, but it talks about the Ukrainian operation. It's not called a war. But this is how Russia pictures the control of territory. So if you look back and forth, that's kind of how the international looks. This is how Russia looks. Of course, you can see a major difference, but it also tells you where they're going. Now, down at the bottom in the red, regardless of which map you look at, is the town of Melitopol. Melitopol has fallen. It is under control of Russia, but even in front of the occupiers today, these citizens were singing about Ukraine. Melitopol, Ukraine. Folks, that's in a city that's fallen. The occupiers are there. The Russian army is there. The people are still there. And they're marching for their freedom and declaring that their city is Ukraine. Dimitry Kuleba went on today just a few minutes ago. It popped at 11:35 their time, so just a few hours ago. I told you this 2 or 3 days ago, maybe 3 or 4, I don't know, but it was about the chemical weapons and everybody's trading barbs back and forth, how the United States, was supposedly had biological and chemical weapon, factories in Odessa and Kiev, and the United States has been coming out and even from Washington saying, we do not have that. We do not have that. Well, Dimitry Kuleba came out a few hours ago, the same guy that was communicating with, I'm going to read this one here. The same guy that was negotiating with Lavrov this morning. He came out and he says the manic obsession with which various Russian officials fantasize about non-existent biological or chemical weapons or hazards in Ukraine is deeply troubled and may actually point at Russia preparing another horrific false flag operation. He then said, this tweet is for the record. He was putting a timestamp and he says, I'm telling you right now, this may happen. I want to read this here. Pastor Derek Gardner, our dear friend, also our dear friend Bishop Tal's brother. He quotes a scripture here. It's on one of my other sites, and I can't pop the chat up on that one, but I want to read it. He says, when you go out to battle against your enemies and see horses and chariots and people more numerous than you, do not be afraid of them. For the Lord your God is with you, who brought you up from the land of Egypt. So it shall be when you are on the verge of battle, that the priest shall approach and speak to the people. And he shall say to them, hear, O Israel, today you are on the verge of a battle with your enemies. Do not let your heart faint. Do not be afraid, and do not tremble or be terrified because of them. For the Lord your God is he who goes with you to fight for you against your enemies, to save you. Deuteronomy chapter 20, verses 1 through 4. New King James Version. Pastor Danny Nelson, God bless you. I see you down there in North Carolina. And Pastor Derek, thank you for sharing that scripture. I think it's spot on for what we're looking at. This lady right here, you've probably never seen her picture before, but she's pretty important. Her name is Kaja Kallas, and she is the foreign minister for Estonia. And prime minister. After direct talks between the foreign ministers, this is her statement today. After the Lavrov Kuleba talks, she said, after direct talks between the foreign ministers of Ukraine and the Russian Federation, the prime minister of Estonia, Kaja Kallas, believes that Moscow does not have the political will to end the war. They want to do as much damage as possible. It seems to me that Putin, in terms of poker, has gone all in. He will either win or lose. So everyone has to make sure Putin doesn't win this war. That right there, my friends, is what I've been trying to communicate for 15 days. She nailed it. That is the Prime Minister of Estonia, a former satellite nation of the Soviet Union. Her DNA is out of the Soviet Union. She knows what she's talking about, and she lives right on the border. This is also the nation where our missionaries and my mentors, Larry and Deborah Menninger, lived and ministered for so many, many years. We need to listen to her. Now, speaking of spiritual things, Derek Gardner, you led me right into this. Can you guys read that? That, my friends, is a prayer of President Vladimir Zelensky. As you know, he is Jewish. And this was his prayer. He said, God sees everything, and I'm translating it for you, and answers so you can't hide. Even if you destroy all of our churches, you will not destroy our faith in Ukraine and our faith in our God. President Vladimir Zelensky. So I've told you what Lavrov said. I've told you what Dimitry Kuleba said. I've told you what the Prime Minister of Estonia has said. Now I'm going to tell you today, after the summit in Turkey, this is what President Zelensky said when he addressed the nation. He said, we have been defending our state, and this is the 15th day. We have persevered. The Ukrainian army is repelling attacks in key areas, thanks to our military, the National Guard, the border guards, the police, the terrorists, and everyone who joined the defense. We did not become slaves, and we never will, because this is our spirit and this is our destiny. He then went after that to release a new law. It was already approved that any property in the nation of Ukraine that Russia owns is now forfeited. Ukraine now owns it. For, let's say they owned a building or a certain section of land in a city, and it had been purchased in the past. They now have no ownership of that land. Zelensky then spoke about the war crimes that are being committed throughout the nation. Quote, they want to humiliate our people so that they take bread and water from the hands of the invaders on their knees, so that Ukrainians could save their lives only by going to the occupied territory or to Russia. That is why even now Mariupol is still blocked. It is under siege. They are trying now to block Volnovaka, another city. They are attempting to block other cities. The invaders deliberately organized this mockery in order to take our people away. His final two statements today in his address to the people was, after the war and after our victory, we will rebuild everything that the enemy has destroyed. We will rebuild it very quickly. We will rebuild it with very high quality. A special state program will be created for each affected city for restoration. I have already instructed the government to start developing this plan of redevelopment. Come on, you've got to hear that. In the middle of a war, he's already got his government with the planning commissions or whatever they're called there, redesigning the redevelopment and making the plans to rebuild their cities. He called them by name: Chernobyl and Sumy, Akhturka and Zhytomyr, Izium, Mariupol. In all the cities where evil has came and visited, there will not be a trace of this Russian invasion. We will use the best architects, the best companies, the best projects for each city. I want to say this using the example of our beautiful Kharkov. Kharkov, which is now experiencing the most terrible suffering ever seen since World War II. Finally, he said, we did not become slaves and never will. This is our spirit and our lot in life. We do have pride in our armed forces, and our love is boundless. That is the words that have come from President Zelensky today. Now, a few things I'm going to give you just on some strategies to look for right now, especially in the occupied territories. Fuel and maintaining a military and movement of people becomes a challenge, especially in very cold weather. And they're experiencing record cold weather, record cold winds. Could it be the Lord? Maybe. It's affecting both sides, but it is significantly affecting the Russian invasion. But the Russian invasion has unfolded a new strategy where they're actually taking the fuel. I show you a picture there of Oko. And for those of you that are watching from Ukraine tonight, you know what Oko is. Oko would be like a Sheetz. Oko would be like a QT or some other type. Arco, for those of you in California, it's a gas station, convenience store, very nice, very beautiful. It's a Ukrainian-owned company. But these gas stations and their reserves and the fuel and the depots is being stolen in the occupied territories. Last night, I was talking to you about oil, and that was oil reserves in the world. And the top two nations were Venezuela and Saudi Arabia. Today, I found some more information that just it goes beyond what we're experiencing in Ukraine and, also the troubles in our own nation. But, honestly, can I just be quite honest with you guys? There's no way you can complain about $5 a gallon gasoline when you know that bombs are being dropped on maternity wards. That's just it. Oh man, I can barely fill my tank. At least you're safe. At least you have a vehicle. At least you have a house. At least you have a job. At least you have money. At least your family's not dead. At least you're not a refugee heading to some foreign country with no hope. Other than that, $5 a gallon, well, no problem. We just have to put things in perspective. Now, with that perspective, very interesting here. Did you know that the United States produces the most oil in the world? Even as locked up as we are right now, the United States produces the most oil in the world. Next is Saudi Arabia, then Russia, Canada, China, Iraq, UAE, United Arab Emirates, Brazil, Iran, and Kuwait. I thought it was just very interesting in lieu of what's going on. Now, just before I went online 2-3 hours ago, this came out. Kiev has once again lost all contact with Chernobyl. I've been talking about Chernobyl for a couple of days. The power was cut. It's vitally important, because once the diesel generators run out of fuel after 48 hours, the radiation and that sarcophagus and all of those spent fuel rods that are there that created the disaster in 1986 must be cooled forever. I mean, way beyond generations and generations and generations. So it's forever for us. They have to be cooled, or it will create another massive nuclear problem, even in Chernobyl. Russia did come out today and said, we will take care of putting electricity back to Chernobyl. It's our place, it's our base, and it's our power now. But that has not happened to this point. And these nuclear power plants have, I guess it's like a meter or a control system. And not only does the capital, the nation, which would be Kiev, but there's also the International Atomic Energy Commission. They also have meters for every nuclear power plant in the world. It's a international thing because they could be so devastating with an accident. And the Atomic Energy Commission has also lost communication with Chernobyl. The bottom line is Chernobyl right now is a big question mark, and we need to keep our eyes on it. With that said, I want to change gears for a moment. A lot of you folks have been wanting to get involved, and you've been giving. You're also sharing, liking, commenting, telling your friends. We're picking up new viewers and new folks every night that want to know the truth about what's going on. We have a local family here that is making t-shirts, and the proceeds are going to be donated to Ukraine relief. So small, medium, and large, and extra large, $20. These are the two designs. On the left, you see Pray for Ukraine. It's a great t-shirt. On the right, you have the Ukrainian sunflower and Pray for Ukraine. So Megan Heathcote Johnson is making t-shirts. We have advertisement for this on our Bethel Life Facebook page. You can just go there. If you're watching on YouTube right now, which a lot of you are, all you have to do is go to Facebook and type in Bethel Life, Bethel space Life, Greenville, Pennsylvania. Just scroll down. You'll see the advertisement there. We are advertising this for Megan, and her email is there and her Facebook. Her business is called Mama of Drama Creations. Mama of Drama Creations. I think you can remember that. But all the proceeds are going to be donated to Ukraine. They will come through Bethel Life. We will assist, and we will get the support to Ukraine. So thank you to Megan Heathcote Johnson for doing that. Folks, I want to show you a picture of a mall that was just built in Kharkov. This is the Nikolsky Mall. You know, many people, most of you here watching, have never been to Ukraine. You've never been to Russia, or you've never been to nations of the former Soviet Union. And, you know, honestly, I'm just going to tell you the truth right now. Russia and Ukraine are two of the most beautiful nations in the world. Take all the war out. Take all the spiritual out. Take all your opinions out. I'm just going to be honest with you as a human. There's nothing more beautiful than Maidan in Kiev. The Dniester River coming down in that ginormous city. It's beautiful. The Orthodox churches with their golden domes when the sun is setting, there's nothing more beautiful. Red Square in Moscow is one of the most beautiful places in the world. I take the politics out of it. The Kremlin, Gum, behind you is the Russian National Historical Museum, and in front of you is St. Basil's Cathedral. It's beautiful. St. Petersburg, beautiful. These are the most incredible architectural places. This building right here is in Kharkov. Modern, To the left is a building that's probably 100, 150 years old, and they just renovate them and update them and paint them. But right there in front of you is a brand new shopping mall that was built in Kharkov. It just opened, and the name of it is Nikolsky. That was bombed today, a shopping center. This is now Nikolsky. Just indiscriminate bombing. That beautiful place is no more. I want to give you an update. This information is coming from Ukraine. It's not coming from any other sources, but this was their internal documentation today. I'll translate it for you. 99,000 refugees have went to Russia, which is Russia. 592 went to Belarus, which is Belarus. 1.3 million have went to Polsha, which is Poland. 153,000 have went to Slovakia. 203,000 have went to Vengria, which is Hungary. 85,000 have went to Romania, which is Romania. 83,000 have went to Moldova. And then below that, you see 236,000 have went to Drugoye Stran, other nations. We're looking at 2.5 million refugees that have left Ukraine. Put on top of that, this is Mayor Vitaly Klitschko. Yes, the heavyweight boxing champion, now the mayor of Kiev, now fighting alongside the Ukrainian forces. He confirmed today that half of Kiev's population has fled. Now, that does not mean they've officially left the country yet. What they're doing is, let's go here. What they're doing is they're going west. So you can see Kiev here in the middle, right down the river from Chernobyl, the Dniester River, and they are going left. So left meaning west, which is Zhytomyr, Berdychev, Vinnytsia, Khmelnytsky, Ternopil, Chernovtsi, Ivano-Frankivsk, Uzhgorod, Lviv, all these cities heading out of the country. They're all going west. Klitschko said and confirmed that 2 million people have left Kiev. Russian forces are advancing on Kiev. And he said today on television, from our information, 1 in 2 Kiev residents has left the cities. He then went on to say, our women and children have left. We're getting our people out that need to leave. But make no mistake about it. A fortress awaits the attack. We shall see. I wouldn't want to mess with Vitaly Klitschko. I promise you. Today, 5 evacuation routes was released in Ukraine. These are the routes that people are to take when they're evacuating. I will just show you these, but there's something I want you to pay attention to. Can you see my mouse there? Yeah, okay, good. Down here, down in the south, is Nikolaev or Mykolaiv. This is the evacuation route, and it goes, northwest. It goes up to Vinnytsia, and then due west straight to Khmelnytsky and Ternopil. Khmelnytsky is where we are ministering and we are supporting, very heavily. So Here's route number 1 of evacuation. It goes through Khmelnytsky. Route number 2, this is coming from Poltava. Comes through central Ukraine, and where does it go? Through Khmelnytsky. Now, Poltava is a city that we need to pay attention to because we are trying to get Slava's family out. She's the young lady that lived here and also now lives in Hong Kong. Her family is trapped there, trying to get to Poltava so that we can get them out. So you see that one. Third route comes from a city called Dnieper, which used to be Dnipropetrovsk. And wow, look where it goes. Go left. You see it. Khmelnytsky. You see it going right to 3 routes. Where are they going? To where we're supporting. 4th route from Kiev down to Bila Tserkva. That's a city name. And that the city of that name translated means white church. Comes down to Vinnitsa, straight to Khmelnytsky. 4th evacuation route through Khmelnytsky. 5th evacuation route out of Kiev all the way down to Uman, and then straight through to Khmelnytsky. Folks, where we're ministering at, you can see all the roads for evacuation are heading there. Now, so many people are leaving Ukraine, but listen here, 190,000 young men and older men have returned to Ukraine from around the world to support their nation. They're coming back to defend their homeland. So yes, millions are leaving, but this diaspora of Ukrainians around the world, they're not abandoning, and they're on the way home to help defend their homeland. Secretary Antony Blinken, our Secretary of State, God bless him, stated, and even posted a picture, Siege of Leningrad, 1942, and then Mariupol, Ukraine, 2022. Similar picture. And he states, every Russian has learned about the siege of Leningrad during World War II. Sadly, history has repeated itself. But now it's the Russian government cruelly starving Ukrainian cities. He's the Secretary of State of the United States. If you're not going to do anything to really help Mariupol, please don't tweet that. Please. That just shows, it's like passing the buck. No, it's humanity, not just Americans, but humanity, of which really only the Polish really are leading the way right now on a governmental level. We have to do something about Mariupol, folks, because if we don't, we're going to end up with 200,000 to 400,000 dead people. And it's a fact. A new video was released with the mayor of Mariupol tonight, and I didn't have time to load it up. It happened right before I went online, and he was just distraught. After the talks failed today, every 30 minutes, Mariupol is being shelled and destroyed. He says every 30 minutes, people are dying. They're starving. They're being killed by shells. Can somebody do something? And this is what we tweet. Pay attention to history. We've got a question. Where is Kataruna's family from? She's from the West. Let me go here. Way to the left, Rodney. If you see the name Ukraine, just go left, and you'll see Ivano-Frankivsk. Way left. That is where she's from. She's not from the East. So Mariupol, Big deal. Big problem. I wanted to show some pictures today, and we're going to finish out now in just a minute. I'm going to show you a video that Zhenya and I shot a few hours ago. This is a picture that was sent to me, I think by Donna. I'm receiving so much stuff every day. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but I think it was Donna. And she just sent me a message and she said, PG, would you mind showing this picture of this old man, being evacuated in Ukraine? He has his cane and his cat. I said, yeah, I'll be glad to show that. Interesting enough, I found another picture that was yesterday of this girl in Irpin rescuing pets. Interesting enough, the video I'm getting ready to show you with Zhenya will talk about a pet. But many times we don't think to the next level, not just people, but also about animals and pets and stuff. And I mean, folks, these cities are big. Like, it's really hard to me explain to you unless you've been there. And for those of you in the chat that have been there, you can just say amen. But Kiev is huge. And I'm not sure anyone else in the chat has been to some of the other cities. But Kharkov, folks, it's huge. Zaporozhye, huge. Mariupol, huge. And all these people live compacted. And folks, when these buildings and all of this infrastructure is gone, it's going to be very difficult. Zelensky said, we're rebuilding. We're going to win and we're going to rebuild. Folks, this place is being decimated. I'm going to keep telling the story every night. Yesterday, this is a pretty famous picture making the rounds now. A family, they were escaping Irpin and just shells going off around them. They went down. You can see their children covering their ears, the husband protecting his small child, and someone coming there to help. Let me put it up for you. That helps, doesn't it? You can see the picture. They were leaving Irpin and shells just dropping all around them. This is reality. That's why I know it's tough for us, especially as Americans, and on these evening updates for the war, we have lots of nations watching, and I'm sure there are challenges in your nation as well. But folks, let's keep the main thing the main thing. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. The world's going to get messed up. That's what the Bible says about it. And maybe we should attempt to do a little bit less complaining about the situations that we have and focus on the big picture. Because that picture right there and what you're getting ready to hear is a completely different world. And it's happening right now. One of the things that we do not think about, but these refugee centers, they are registered with the government of Ukraine. So now, of course, it's not OSHA, and this is completely a wartime event and war zones. But the government of Ukraine has asked, please observe hygiene. You have people traveling from different cities. People have been trapped for a week or 2 weeks, haven't bathed, they're sick. Please do as much hygiene as you can. And this lady with Zhenya right there, she has personally taken the responsibility that every morning she washes 130 bed sheets and blankets and gets them prepared to return back to the refugee center each night. This has to happen every day. We think about food, we think about rescuing people, but Do we even think about those sheets have to be washed? I'm sure some of our support will also go to buy some Tide and some laundry detergent. Finally, we'll continue to pray for Ukraine. We're doing a great job. We sending some more resources tomorrow. In fact, some resources were sent today, and they arrived very quickly. But as we close out tonight, a lot of folks in here tonight, I want to ask you to watch this, and this is what we're going to close with tonight. This is a few hours ago as I was speaking with Zhenya, and I talk to them every day, and I talk to the refugee families, get their stories, and encourage them. Here's a little episode of what happened today, and just listen to this conversation.
And man, you will not believe the next. Hello. It's the one family, and you will not believe. They arrived 16 of them.
16 members, one family.
Yes, да, давайте сами. Можете, кто знает английский?
Hello, we big family is Sumy. We go Khmelnytsky because us region war now, and we go now Khmelnytsky.
Как дорога, говорит.
How was the way?
Да, очень тяжело было ехать.
Hard.
It was a very difficult way.
Просто 16 человек нереально в двух машинах провести.
It is unreal.
Две машины, 16 человек.
It is unreal to bring 16 people in one at once. You okay? He said that it's not. It wasn't easy to fit 16 people in the two cars.
16 people came in 2 cars that seat 5 people each.
Я говорю, перевел, что тяжело. Две машины.
Две машины легковые, обычные по 5 мест, привезли 16 человек.
So it's a 5-seater, 2 5-seaters car, not 8-seaters.
Плюс еще вещи.
And dog.
И собака.
16 people plus 1 dog.
16 people and their dog. All one family.
Нас на пункт пропуска, если милиция останавливает, смотрит. Как вы видите.
Да, 1000 километров ехали.
1,000 kilometers.
We had to drive 1,000 kilometers.
And
That's
in-
600
So
miles.
in 5-seats car,
Да.
there were 8 people plus all the stuff, all the goods, and the dog. 2 cars like that. So when they were both pulled, you know, by not pulled but stopping in a block post, the soldiers and the guys were shocked and said, "Okay, oh, unbelievable." Говори, пожалуйста, едьте.
Да, мы все выезжали, нас встретили русские.
Now she's telling the story that when they came across the nation,
Да, они стояли возле дороги.
they were stopped by the Russian military and
So they met
tanks.
some machines, with Russian soldiers, and they allowed them.
Да, внедряли.
And they looked at them and saw 2 cars full of this family, and they let them go.
Да, пропустили. Ну,
She said they were very nervous, and as they held their guns, their fingers were just twitching. That's what she was saying on their
Their
guns.
fingers were like trembling, being ready to shoot.
But they let them go.
Мы уезжали,
It's scary,
да,
he
мы-
said. The
да,
father
мы-
says.
The father said it was very scary.
да, вот мы уезжали, очень плакали, что мы выехали.
We were crying when we were
She
leaving.
said all we did was cry for 600 miles.
It was really
Ну,
hard.
2 недели мы там жили при войне и в подвале.
For 2
спали.
weeks, we were
Это было очень
trapped
тяжело.
and
Because we were
nothing but
living
bombs
in
going
the
off around
dungeons.
us. We couldn't leave.
Yeah, it's like yes, in the dungeons. 2 weeks.
2 weeks we were in a
For 2
dungeon,
weeks.
unable to move.
Дети поболели, вот мы только вот...
The children
kids
got very
got sick.
sick. They had temperatures.
Да, температура, дети поболели, мы только вот отошли от болезней.
They were sick, and there was nothing we could do about it.
Like I would make it short. Like we just, как это, отошли. Get to normal, let's say. Just got okay.
But thank God, arriving
Yes.
here is the first
And
normal
finally
we
get
have
better.
found.
So okay.
I'm going to speak to them now, and you'll hear them respond. They all say thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Goodbye. Bye. Goodbye.
До завтра.
До завтра.
Until tomorrow. Folks, that was just a few hours ago in Khmelnytskyi, Ukraine. That family was from Sumy, one of the most famous areas for being devastated. 16 members of that family and a dog came in 2 cars. They were in a dungeon basement or whatever their bunker was for 2 weeks. The children were sick. They struggled. They finally had a way to get out, and they made it to Khmelnytskyi. And they are being ministered to where you have sown, where you have prayed, where you have invested. Do you see the smiles on that family's face? The dad said, we were scared. And the mama said, today is the first normal we've experienced in 2 weeks. Thank you. Folks, it doesn't get any better than that. So what a beautiful night we've had. I mean, it is what it is, but I like also sharing with you these wonderful stories of the goodness of God. Thank you all for all that you are doing. And as always, continue to pray. A lot is happening nonstop. Facebook just released that they are loosening their regulations on what people are posting about this war. It's right now to support Ukraine. So that's what we're doing, and it appears that Facebook is supporting that. So that's where we're at, and that's what we have. 23 hours. We'll be back with tomorrow's update. May the Lord bless you and keep you. Thank you for praying. Thank you for continuing to give. You see the fruit of what is happening. And remember, no matter what, God is in control. May the Lord bless you tonight, and may God abundantly bless Ukraine this evening in the mighty name of Jesus. 23 hours. Good night. We'll see you tomorrow.